This is Does It Really Matter? And today I have the lovely Silva with me, and we connected. Oh, I don't know. It's got to be 8 months ago, maybe. I have no clue when we connected, but we connected and we have had the most amazing conversations, assisted each other, from my perspective anyway, brought stuff out of each other. It's really hard to put in words what our conversations entail. I don't know about yourself, but I always leave the conversations really happy. Um, Again, words, they fail the feeling, what I feel when we have our conversations. So I'm really happy that you've chose to come on and create what we're going to create. So thank you for being on Does It Really Matter?
Thank you. And thank you for first reaching out. So I don't know if it was 8 months ago or 12 months ago, what the timeline is. But what I do remember was me first jumping into TikTok to just put my voice out there and have conversations kind of with myself and then with whichever community of people I might interact with. So it's beautiful. That was my intention. And then over time, me and you've grown our friendship, our connection more and more. And I still remember the time where you reached out and said, hey, something saying that we should do a podcast together. And I'm like, that sounds cool. Let's do it. You're like, okay, well, let's just have a phone call and I explain to you what's what. And I remember that first phone call, I was in the airport. I can't remember where I was flying to. And within 10 minutes, I had tears trickling down my cheeks. Because you had told me something which I had realized early on that morning, which completely left myself flawless. And you might not remember what you said because you was channeling and you had told
Yeah.
me, I'm going to channel because things are coming in and I may not remember what I'm about to tell you. But it's for you. So I'm gonna replay that moment quickly because it was very powerful for me. In that morning, I was reading through my notes and it was a conversation which I had with my parents. And my mum had said something which sounded really off tone. It didn't sound like her, but it hit me quite deeply. It was something like, you have this evil inside of you or something along those lines. And as I read that line, it hit me deep and it hurt, but at the same time, it had this fire around it, which didn't feel like her. So I reflected on that and I started to write towards it. And I was like, what is this? Who are you? What is this? And as I was writing, my back started clenching up and feeling really tight. Like my back on the left hand side, as if I was to grow wings, it would be like where my wings will sprout out. It was extremely tight. And as that was getting tight, I was like, what is this pain? So then I started to write towards this pain. I was like, hey, this pain must connect to what my mum had said. What are you? And I didn't know what it was. I said, before you even tell me who you are, I love you already. You're in me. You're a part of me. I don't know what you are. I don't know why you're tensing in this way, but whatever it is, like I've got you. Just show me who you are so I can love you better. And then something in me, a knowing came which said, this is not you, but it came with you. So when I was born, it wasn't something which was me, but it came with my birth. And I was like, what would come with my birth? And then as I reflected, it became clear that it's generational, it's ancestral. This is like something from my bloodline, which I hold. And then as I was reflecting on it, it felt like expectations. It felt like responsibility. And I didn't know what to do with that information. It just felt a bit scattered. And also because I was by myself, I'm like, okay. And then I was like, listen, whatever part of you, I love you, we'll continue to, I'll continue to reflect on that side. And I'll continue to see what will happen. And it wasn't until I spoke to you later on that afternoon when I was at the airport that you said you got a message from me. And the message came through. And I just remembered you saying, Silva, your ancestors, they're showing you so much love right now. There's so much love around. I'm not sure if you can feel it, but they're saying thank you. They love you and you love them. They're saying thank you for breaking, for holding, for transforming this generational trauma that has been in your bloodline. they're saying you are releasing things which has been held. And then as you said that, like it was this. I was at the airport. I didn't want people to see me crying. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, what the fuck? So
Men cry.
te- tears are coming down my eyes, and I was like, and it wasn't tears out of sadness. It was tears out of recognition of hearing such a deep truth that my body recognizes truth. And forget people seeing someone cry. Like for me, tears are a beautiful way of release, of recognition, of realization. Release, recognition, realization. Tears will show you those things. And during that conversation, I don't remember everything else that we spoke about, but that particular moment stuck with me for such a long time. And I've always continued to wonder, have I healed that? What else is there to do? But not only now to the generations of the past and my ancestors, but now to my descendants coming up after me. Although I'm not sure if I'm going to have kids, my descendants are just people who I touch, the people I connect with, the people who I heal, the people who heal me, the people who walk on this journey with. So now I'm also intrigued about what's to come through the actions which I take today.
Yeah, yeah. And so I can't remember. You're right. I can't remember. I actually struggle to retain even see like a lot of conversations when I don't channel. I think I have so much going on or so many fractals in me going on here. I'm just like a little nodding, so on them nodding dolls, or just I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I just kind of, um, but from reaching out and saying, oh yeah, like we should jump on or do a podcast, and that didn't happen until now for a long time because although I can't remember some of our conversations, some of them have been some would call big, like big, especially was it our last one? That was really big and it showed something in me. And I'm trying to remember what it showed in me. Was it something along the lines of the reason it's not been done yet is because you're still holding on to the energetics it could bring really big, like as I don't know if you can remember what I was saying because again, I was getting information and the Tammy was just like, "Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, then." Like a big energetic, the possibility of the energetics, what this can hold. Was I a bit? Oh, this could be really big energetically for me, Tammy. Wow, was I a bit? Is this why it's not happened? But I remember having a conversation um, channeling, and we were talking about, you might have to refresh me here, what we were going through. Was it expansion and contraction? Was that one of them?
Are you talking about the most recent one?
No, the one probably about a month, 2 months ago. And we were doing it. And was it living in loops? What? We've had so many conversations for
That's
the
so many
people what are
conversations.
watching. And we
Um,
was like, our podcast should be on that. And then we did end up doing it.
it was around frequency, wasn't it? Frequency first.
Frequency first, that's it. And
Around frequency first.
we didn't end up doing it. So it was a
Yeah,
conversation of living as frequency first because
yeah.
I was getting a lot of information. And then and our conversations always seem to align. So we'll get in touch with each other. It could be we've not spoke for like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. Again, I lose track of time. I thought it was Friday today. Um, but when we do talk, there's always a really strong connecting point because you're like, I said about frequency first, and you was like, yeah, so I've been trying to do this and then doing this. And it just always seems to kind of, I don't know, have an impact, the conversations. But what we were trying to do, yeah, we'll get on and chat about this. We'll get on and chat about this when actually we have no direction of where this is going to go. And we're just actually going with it and flowing. And I think that's really, really good. even though I've said to you today, my brain is not actually functioning.
Yeah,
I
it should
woke
be.
up,
Yeah.
thought it was Friday, no, it's Sunday, struggling to get words out. Voice noting a friend after having a dream, which once would have had me raging. And I'm like, oh, the sky's beautiful, the sun's lovely, the clouds are lovely, and I'm in my own little tummy well. So I didn't know how this was going to go today.
And that's why I was excited that you was in that place, because I do feel that there's plenty of times where you're in a place of the human side of you will start to overthink. This needs to be like
Mm,
this, and I need to make sure I'm covered in this way. And the message which you got the other day, which pushed us to have this conversation today, was when we do speak, we're going to open up possibilities. But to open up possibilities, it needs to be frequency first. And frequency first isn't being ready. Frequency first isn't necessarily having a concrete plan.
yeah.
It's about being present, however you are or wherever you are, or however you're feeling. It's
Mm,
about owning that. Like, yeah,
yeah.
this morning I thought it was Friday. I was super confused. Then I thought it was a great day. And I had this crazy dream, which before would have made me angry, but I left and I was at peace. And that's where I am right now.
Mm,
And even our conversations, as you were saying it, for me, shows frequency and motion, where you would have certain people, when you speak to them, it feels like you're always in sync. It
yeah.
like, you might not speak to somebody for years, you speak to them and it feels like no time has gone whatsoever. And I'm starting to see that as frequency first, in the sense of, it's because both of you have always been on the same frequency. So when you meet, it's just like you're still on the same frequency. You haven't left that frequency. You may not have
Mm,
seen each other physically, you may not have been around each other, but both of you have been operating at the same frequency. That's where that connection is. And I feel that with you, I feel that with my friend Sai. I feel that with my girlfriend Glow. I feel that with different people. And now, saying out loud, I guess I would have noticed that more, to be intentional as I build my tribe, in terms of the people who I intentionally try to put time in with, to talk through ideas, see if
mm,
we can work in particular ways. Because yeah, it's frequency first can be a really powerful way to build out your life. In a Because sometimes, I build up my life. Well, as soon as we're all born, our life is built in terms of
yeah.
the expectations of what we should be doing. The expectation is, well, you go through education that will get you some sort of job, or you start some sort of business. Then you
Mm,
have friends you would have known for years. You might make some new friends. You might travel
mm,
to some different locations,
yeah.
and then you probably come back home or move to one location. Then you have a kid. Then you have a family. And then you have a mortgage. Then you pass it on to
And
others, and
don't
you
mess
build more
up
financial
along the
wealth.
way. Don't
Say
mess
again?
up along and you
Don't
don't
mess up
mess up
along the
along the
way.
way.
Don't mess up along the way. Whereas with frequency first, it's more that it's not only about your willpower and your expectation. It's also clearly about listening and being in tune with yourself and with the environment around you.
Mm,
When I connect with this person, what frequency are we at? When I'm in this place, what frequency do I feel like this place physically that I'm at is at with
mm,
me? And as you start to follow frequency and build a life around frequency, it can feel really scary because it's the unknown. But at the
mm,
same time, because it needs a level of surrender, because you're listening as well as acting. Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's not an easy journey, but it's the one which I'm choosing to go on now. And it's the one which excites me to live life to the fullest. Because living life to the fullest isn't only about my expectation of what I want and I'm going to make this
Mm,
happen. Living life to the fullest is also being open to what life brings and how I will ride that
yeah.
wave. And that
Yeah.
brings fluidity,
Mm,
so much beautifulness. And I think that's the
yeah.
aliveness which I seek really deeply.
Yeah. So with frequency first, just as you were speaking, I've all so when I listen to people speak and I actually really listen, wasn't ever a listener probably 5 years ago. No, I did not listen. I thought I listened. I did not listen. I couldn't even listen to myself, let alone anyone else 5 years ago. But frequency first, so when you were talking, it pushes you out of your comfort zone because you have to learn to say no. You have to learn to say no where you would have once said yes over and over and over again. People, places, and things, to put that with frequency first. So, how is this conversation making me feel? I've got the right to leave it from a loving space. And then comes in, how much should you be in the conversation before you say, no, I've had enough? Or you go somewhere and let's say a friend's doing something and you've been invited, but it is just draining you. How long do you go? Or do you actually go, no, I can't? So being empowered to be like, no, and then not feeling responsible for how the other person takes it. And there's a fine line between everything. But when you live as frequency first from a loving space, the other person may not get it, but actually, how does this conversation make me feel? Or when I go and see someone, how do I feel before I see them, knowing that I have to see them? And then how do I feel when I'm there? And then how do I feel a couple of hours after? And maybe the next day as well, which we've never been really. I've never been taught to do that. Others may have been taught to do that. For me, I've never been taught to do that. I think, mate, I could be wrong. A majority of people have never been taught to do that. And for me, that explains a little bit about frequency first, because some people might be like, what is frequency? What is this thing? And that, I think, can be, I want to choose my words carefully, tricky when you start. Like, oh no, I don't like this. Does my body tense up? I had like just even little things. And it could be things as well. Like, I don't listen to music what I once listened to. For me, I don't do some of the things what I once done. Not that I'm judging them. They was a part of my life and I learned so much from them. But as my frequency is changing and shifting, I'm noticing my outer world is changing and shifting. I mean, maybe me moving away from everyone I know helped. Like moving
It
from
probably helps a
down.
lot. It probably helps a lot.
But do you think as well, just putting it out there, we are energy, frequency, and it's always moving. So then if we stay in the same place, and this is just, I'm not saying people should move or shouldn't move, whatever, but we can step into a new field of expansion and growth as well. So people could be, it's easy for you. You moved away from everyone you know. So you could actually put loads of stuff in place because we actually can't come and see you or you can't come and see us. It's not a 5-minute drive. It's it's a 10-hour drive from one end of the country to the other end. So you can say that. It's easy for you, which from one perspective it is. I can just be, no, I can't go here. Or, no, I can't do this. No, I can't do that. But I feel with the way the world is now, just through my lens, we've got a really big opportunity to start living as frequency first. And then just saying no. No's a big one. How do you
No
feel
is a
about
big
that?
one. And so there's different layers to this because I remember I was speaking to a friend, my boy Yao, and he was like, Aliyu. So Ali's my birth name, Silva's like my spiritual name, my poet name. And he's like, Aliyu, listen, if you call me and say, bro, listen, I'm tired. I'm not feeling to come to your birthday party. I'll give you a call when I'm feeling like more up for it. I mean, you can do something. Bro, I love you. Say less. You don't need to come.
Yeah.
Whereas other friends, I can imagine they might take that to heart, or they might find it like, I'm not supporting them, or not, maybe not specifically me, but they expect their friends to be there, and that's their sense of wholeness. And if a friend's not there, that means they're not worthy. But they've attached friendship to their worthiness. When I was speaking to Yao, I could see he didn't attach me not going to any self-worth or condition on our friendship. He knows if I can make it, if I'm up for it, I'm there. But he's also not saying don't force to come if that's not where you need to be right now. Put you first. And when he said that, it made me really start to think about the people who I choose to have in my life and how much they choose to allow me to be me and how much I choose to allow them to be them. So
Yeah.
if I had a party and I invited a bunch of my friends and loads of them couldn't turn up, how would I feel if all of them had different things going on and they couldn't make it to come and celebrate me
Mhm.
in that way? Would I feel like my value wasn't there? Or would I feel like everyone's doing what they need to do? And I think it comes down to, for me, the relationship I have with them and the communication which I've had with them around
Mhm.
what's going on, where things are at. Should I do something on another day? Am I just trying to celebrate me, or am I just trying to create a condition where I want to chill with my loved ones, but at a time which also works for the people around me? What does that need to look like? But also, it doesn't need to be everyone. It could just be two or three who I chill with versus all 13 of my friends or however many different friends that I
Yeah.
have. It doesn't necessarily need to be
Mhm.
something big, but it can be something wholesome for myself. So it was beautiful to hear that from him, because then that really pushed against the narrative of having to say yes when you don't want to. And also
Mhm.
sometimes it's communicating with people to say, hey, listen, I'm not up for it. If you really want me to come, I will come through, but know that my energy might be low. But I want to give you a heads up so that way you know where I'm at. And most
Mhm.
of the time, your friends will probably be like, let's chill. It's all good,
Mhm.
because you've shown your appreciation towards them. So for me, communication is an important one when it comes to frequency first. But
Mhm.
also another lens is not only the person who's the hurdle, you are also the hurdle.
Yeah.
So let's take a really personal one into consideration. I'm sure there's many times in a relationship where the woman doesn't want to have sex with the man. The man
Mhm.
may not want to have sex with the woman that day.
Yeah.
You may not be in the mood. So for some couples, they'll be like, "No, I'm just not in the mood." For other couples, it's like, well, I don't really want to say I'm not in the like. How do I say that?
Yeah.
How's the person gonna feel? Are they gonna feel like I don't want them if I say I'm just not in the mood right now? What
Yeah.
what is this? So then you yourself start to play things in your mind without saying it to the person in the best way that you can.
Mm.
So you might just tell them, "No, I'm just not in the mood today," and they'll be like, "Oh, okay, fine." Um,
Yes.
or you could say it in a way, say, "Hey, listen, like, I'm super tired. I've got loads of things in my mind. I want to because I can tell you want to, and I want to do it for you. But if I'm really honest, like, I'm just not in the mood right now. Um,
Yeah.
like, I hope, like, do you understand? And then you can have a bit more of a conversation around it. There's one
Mm.
side which is super defensive. There's another side which shows your heart a bit more and shows a bit more
Mm.
vulnerability. But
Yeah.
also you call out where they're at. It's not only about you. It's like, hey,
Mm.
these are all the things happening for me.
Yeah.
I can tell you want X, I can tell you want Y or whatever
Mhm.
else, but this is really not where I'm at.
Yeah.
So I feel sometimes when you're feeling something in you, it's practicing and having the tools of knowing how to communicate appropriately,
Mhm.
and to know you've done that. So even if the person says, well, you should do it anyway, you start to really question, oh, well, that's interesting. Is that the kind of person who I want? But also it tells you about where they're at. What are their insecurities, and maybe some of the other things you and them need to talk about, in terms of your
Mhm.
relationship or a broader relationship that they have, because you can sense it coming through. There's some sort of,
And a
yeah,
programming.
niggling there.
And a
Yes,
programming.
exactly,
What
exactly.
they're probably, I mean, I lived in programs. Do I still live in them? Well, probably. Um, but um, my awareness from the programmings I was once living in, literally, when I say my whole life had changed, I am literally not the same person. The Tammy before, which has only, I say, remnants left. I I was so unbelievably loud, like so loud. I just, there was no centered, like, literally that I can't even explain how it was before. And I look and it just feels like a different person because I'm not that person. Um, but while you were explaining what you were just explaining, I've got communication. So here's a
Been waiting
question
for
of
this.
communication. And this is why I love our conversations, because we can talk and we can come back at it with something else and then we'll go on talking about that. So communication is brilliant. But what if you try to communicate with someone what can only communicate from where they are, and them communications are not heard, they're not met, because it's only from where they are. Now, I think if you take the world as a whole, there's so much miscommunication going on. You only have to kind of, I don't look at a lot of stuff in the world, but when I do, I'm like, oh, God, there's that going on there. Oh, no communication. You can tell where people are at with themselves. And then the communication can become not heard from one side. You can shout it as loud as you want, but if they're not getting where you're coming from, they're just not going to hear. So then what do we do as humans and as a singular human having an experience? Of course, we're not singular. We are all one, but I don't know who's going to watch this. So I want to explain it like this. So from a singular body, what do we do then with the communication? We try to have communication, but everyone is at different frequencies. So sometimes it's not going to be heard. And sometimes is that pushing you to then be okay with who you're becoming and know that it is just pushing you to interact with other frequencies, i.e., other humans, because you've learned all what you can learn from that human, and that human has learned all what they can learn from you. And this is not saying one is right or wrong either. It's not saying my communication's better or my awareness is better than yours. It's just we're at different frequencies, and how our communication is not being heard, matching, whatever word you want. I put words to it, but it might not make sense for some because I get it as a feeling. So it's kind of me to articulate the words to the feeling I get is it fries Tammy's human brain sometimes. Like I can't think of a word. But what do you think about that with the communication and it being
So I remember I was gonna run this event, and I was gonna run it for a guy who, amazing client. I was like, yes, I really want him to be successful. Like, this is gonna be amazing. I had his back. I had all these ideas. I had a methodology of what we're gonna execute. But I didn't realize where he was, where his organization was. He was in a place of fear of potentially losing his job, of very high stakes political, like Game of Thrones. And then they hired me. I'd come in. I've got so many ideas, and I was really clear and really confident in my ability to take them where I felt that they needed to get to, and the vision which I had in my head. But what kept happening was they wanted to drive things, especially him, command and control. This is what I say, this is what happened. I was about bringing everyone else together and making sure all voices were heard. It was more, he wanted voices to appear to be heard, but he was the ultimate decision maker.
yeah.
Our communication kept going over each other until it got to a point where they were going to take me off the project, which had never happened to me before. And he said something to somebody else, not to me directly, saying he doesn't listen. He's just trying to drive things in his own agenda. And in my head, I was thinking, listening is one of my biggest strengths. And it's not so much driving my agenda, but it's taking what you said and having I'm so inspired by what we could achieve that we could take you to where you want to, where you want to get to, and even more. Like, you don't even understand where we could take you. You don't see it. And I now realize he was never going to see it because he was in a place of he needed safety. Safety looked like command and control. I've climbed through the ranks to get where I am. My boss's boss is not going on holiday to come to this particular event, to come and see what's going on. Everyone's there. It's highly important. So I need it to be good. Not meeting him where he was made him feel unsafe. So sometimes when you have somebody whose birthday it is or any other thing, it's like that birthday could be in a place, or just how they are when it comes to inviting people or bringing people together, could be a really vulnerable space for them. And then you saying you can't make it or anything else, all of a sudden hits their core wound, which they'll interpret into 1,000 different pieces. And as
Mm.
soon as it hits that core wound, it doesn't matter what you say,
Mm-mm.
they won't hear it.
No.
And even if they heard it, they don't hear it. And what I mean is they've heard it, but as soon as they heard it, by the time it filters into their being, into their emotions, it gets disintegrated. See it like as a firewall. They've heard it,
Yeah.
they've told you they heard it, but it doesn't hit their emotions. As soon as it gets to their emotion, it incinerates. And
Mm.
all they now hear and have is the echoes of the pain which they've been trying to avoid, which you've now triggered. And that's what's
Yeah.
currently there. So as you continue to talk, they're talking and they're just talking at their frequency. You're talking at your frequency, totally misaligned. And as I've grown more in frequency first, I'm starting to get better at when I say something and I meet somebody full heart, like you said,
Mhm.
frequency first, heart. I can sense when they're not in a heart place, when they can't hear what I'm saying. And that's fine.
Mm.
Especially now I can discern it. Before it was
Mhm.
really hard
Yeah.
because I could, I'm trying to do my best here. Look, I just can't make it, or this can't happen like that. They're saying this, they're saying that. Then I feel bad and I want to apologize. Then I want to, okay, maybe I can make it, and start making all these
Mm.
excuses and forcing myself to do things which I really don't want to do,
Mm.
because of where they're at. So then I'll shrink myself to try to make them feel comfortable. But
Mm.
the more I honor myself and love myself, but also love that other person more in terms of being able to discern, the more I can start to see you are where you are. Now it's up to me to think, how much do I want to shrink, change, wear a mask in order to make you feel comfortable? Or how much do I not want to do that? But also, how much is me doing that just helps you to continue to be in your cycle, and then helps me to continue to be in your cycle, and also for me to continue in my cycle, because you've been triggered now triggers me. And then now we're
Yeah.
both in the same loop
Yeah.
of trigger forces. And then when you
Mm.
start to understand it from that lens, then you can really start to make brave decisions, which
Mm.
doesn't look like from a heart place saying no makes it be this thing where my guilt and shame will come up, which it will still come up
Mm.
because they will do that. Those are some of my old narratives, which also starts to help me see that doing this no is not only for me, it's also for them, in the
Mm.
sense where it will challenge their narratives and their stories. It may not change them, and might still trigger them. They might get anxious over it. They might never want to talk to me again over it. But it gives them a chance and a moment to feel whatever that pain is, and to hopefully, if they are in a place where they can, to delve into it,
Mm.
to start to see, why do I feel that so deeply? And it can
Yeah.
act hopefully as a mirror or as a space for them to grow from that pain, or
Yeah.
not. It depends on the person. But me not following my frequency just keeps us both in the same loop,
Yeah.
looping. Um, so it's one of the things which I've been reflecting over, and it's so hard to do, um, and so hard to perform. Well, not to perform. Performance is not the right word. And actually, so the last thing I'll add to it is this notion which I've been practicing over the last 7 days, which is, how do I treat everyone as if they're a reflection of me? How do I treat everyone as if they're a reflection of me? And what I mean is, if let's just say, Tammy, we're talking and you're angry.
Mhm.
I've told you that I can't make something, whatever else, and you're like, I can't believe you can't make it, etc., etc. I could have a few different perspectives in that. I'll be like, oh no, sorry, like, I don't mean that, etc., etc. That's one way I
Mm,
could take it. Another way, would be like, if you're listening to me, I told you, like, I've been really stressed this week. All you care is about yourself. That's
mhm.
another lens. Now, if I was to pretend you're me, I'll be thinking to myself, "Ooh, I seem upset. Why would I be this upset for just missing something which isn't that big of a deal? I wonder what that is." So then, if I'm trying to treat you like I'll treat myself, then I'll be like, "Okay, well, this seems really important to you, and I'm
Mm.
sorry if what I said has hurt you because I can see that you're really inflamed by it. And I want to make sure that I can make it up to you. But at the same time, if this is something which you really want me to come to, maybe I'm just not understanding it. So I just want to, like, what's making you so angry and what's causing that flame so deeply? And so I can understand what I've done. Because this the relationship we have means a lot to me. Like, I love you, right? Like, I love you. If I
For
meet
some
myself like that,
people,
ah,
I'm sorry for some people, that is, I can just imagine, like, for some of the people, or me back in the day, like, just me
mm,
back in the day.
please.
For some people, that is gonna be so explosive to their being, or their
Mm,
programming is what they run. That is just gonna be like you throwing, what is it, a grenade, like taking the pin off, throwing and going boom, and it's just going boom, and they're like,
explain.
like what you were saying, like, why do you feel like this? No, I love you, right? For some people, it'd be like, what are you trying to say? You could be speaking like a different language. Or some people, it
Mm,
could actually rip them open even more to bits where they didn't even know. And it's like, yeah, I know you love me, but I really want to be bloody angry with you right now. But I know you love me. Do you get what I mean? For some people, that'd be beautiful. For some people, that'd be, do you know what? I know you love me. Yeah, do you know what? If you can't make it, that's absolutely fine. I know you love me. For some people, it's going to be, if you love me, you come. What are you chatting about? That's what you do for people you love. No? Is it not? For some people, the words, what like you just said, would hit, and they might not be able to stop thinking about them on their birthday night while this party's going on, going, the fuck? Wow, so you could actually blow something up or ignite something in someone. And this is where, when we think interactions, when we think we're not learning from any interaction, we are. Because I had a vision of the old Tammy while you were speaking, and a vision of how I'd be like, oh, sweet, you can't come. Okay. Oh, okay, that's fine. But I just, from what you've said, different people, it would just impact them so differently. And actually, are we responsible for how we impact people? It's Is it the paradoxity? I don't know what word, but of it all, like, yes, we do impact people, but if we're doing it from a loving space, do we carry on doing it? Like, these are questions
what
what
do
I
you think?
love.
What's your answer for that?
For me,
Answer it from the lens of Tammy back in the day, from the lens
Tammy
of the
back in the
impact that would have
day,
had on her, and from the lens of Tammy today.
like, we're friends, mate. What, you love me? Why are you not there? I'd be there for you, because I wouldn't even be aware that I needed to stop doing things in order for me to, like, kind of straighten myself out. What the fuck? Excuse my language. What? No. Now I'm like, okay. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. You've got stuff going on. You're doing you. Okay. Then I could pop into, let's say, other fractals of myself when I channel, and I'll be going, so they're expressing their self exactly how they need to in that moment for you to get this from it. Okay. So I think sometimes I cheat. I don't know, cheating a little bit. I say to, like, people who I know, I feel like I cheat a little bit, because if something comes up, I'm the human, but the human's so integrate with all these other fractals of me. So I get, oh yeah, so this is like this and this is like this. So I'll give you something what happened with me and my husband in the car. So we're driving and he's asked me a question. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't really care. And he went, can't have these conversations with you anymore. And I'm like, no, you can't, because it didn't interest me, for one. And for me, the vibration was a bit, it just wasn't vibrating where I was. It was about something going on in the world. So I'm aware, but I just don't want to give it energy. So then what do? I pop into a channel and give a different perspective from the channel. And then again, I can't remember all the time when I channel, but it was like, well, you're not wrong for saying that. And you're actually right. She doesn't want to talk about it. She doesn't want to have these conversations because it's not conducive for her to have these conversations in her at the moment. She just doesn't want to, and she's okay with that. But you're okay with wanting the conversations you're with. And you're right. If you want to have these conversations with her, she will not be interested in them because it does not, for her, fill her up. But what this is also giving an opportunity is that look at the level of the conversation you were trying to have. If you look at it negative and positive, it was quite a lot of negativity, really. So you choose if you want to have that because you do live on Earth where it's positive and negative. Neither's wrong nor right. But maybe her response was to push, and now we're talking about, I can't even remember what they brought up, but now we're talking about something else. How does it feel? Do you feel lighter in yourself? Yeah, he went, yeah, I do actually feel a lot lighter. And they said, so Tammy wants to, not that she's pushing away a feeling of not lighter or like heavier or lighter, but in that moment of time, she just didn't want to talk about it because she's driving in the car, seeing the locks, the beautiful, like the mountains and that. And she didn't want that interrupted with that crap.
Well,
So
you say cheating, but I see it a different way.
is it a new
I see it as
human?
say again.
Could it be the new human connecting to other parts of ourselves which we've got? So see people speak about the new human, let's say, yeah? Could it be as we go in and connect to more other parts of ourselves, it's actually really not cheating, it's always been there.
110%. So on the level of those who have, well, everyone has the ability to, but those who have practiced and can frequently go within, speak to different parts of yourself and being able to get that, that's
Mhm.
powerful. And then even for those who can't, then I see those like yourself who can, when you break down the story of what happened, um, between you, your husband, this other part of you which brought up these different ways to look at it, and then your husband's reaction, that already starts to give those who listen to that story tools to look out for. So I'll break it down in terms of what I heard. I heard that your husband wanted to talk about something negative. Let's call it, what's happening
Yeah,
currently in the world, maybe around the
yeah.
wars. It was something which will drain the energy. There's nothing you can do about it. But there's just stuff you can talk about it, moan around it, and show how annoyed and angry we are. So it's an outlet, but it can be draining at the same time. Your spirit didn't feel like you wanted to talk about that, but being in your current state at that time in the car, it wasn't something you could articulate in the way which made full sense. I just know I don't want to talk about it. I'm not
Yeah.
in the mood. It's just a no.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, is that how you're gonna go on?" Well, yeah, not because Tammy's being angry or mean. I don't know what else to say. I just don't want to, like, I just have this sense. I don't want to talk about it. There's nothing else to kind of say. Like, this is just it. Um, but in your case, you was able to channel into a part of you, which would then say, hey, listen, if you look at it, husband, from what you're trying to talk about, you could talk about something positive or negative. This is very negative. And we're in a space right now, like, look at outside, like, we're driving past mountains. It's such a beautiful day. And to bring something negative in this space, what does it even do to you? Does it also drain your energy? It does, right? So how about we focus on something which you're also passionate about, but which can bring life and energy into it,
Mm,
and from a positive space, because right now it's not the time for this. And I'm not saying to totally ignore the negative, but there's a time and a place, and it's not all the time. Also,
mm,
see how often you're talking about the negative versus the positive.
mm,
Now, in breaking down the story from that lens, it gives all of us tools to say, hey, if I'm not feeling something, it may be because we're talking about negative things, which my essence isn't looking for right now. And maybe
Yeah.
I just need to say, hey, listen, this is a bit negative. Can we speak about something more positive? Like, I'm just not. So again, I feel like although you can see it as cheating, you can see it as new human, you can also see it as you utilize your gifts and tell us the stories, we can remember those stories in our day to day to then be able to articulate some of how we're feeling through remembering some of the lessons that you're remembering, some of the things that you said through the experiences that you've had.
Mm. Yeah. And to follow on from that, we went and visited some friends, and I was like, "Oh, hi, Eugene." And I've not seen them for a long time. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm doing really well." And I just feel I'm going to try and word this to the best of my ability. But I know you are going to get the feeling what I'm trying to put in words, and you might be able to put better words to it after. So I'm neither for nor against. Okay. This is most of my day. Don't get it twisted. I have human moments, and I'm sure we'll speak about that on another episode, right? When I'm crying and like, yeah, but. So I'm neither for nor against. I'm quite central. And I know that we are fractal of creator, God, source, whatever you want to call it. Everyone has a different interpretation of it. We're fractals of that experiencing itself. We are light energy experiencing itself. And I spend a lot of my day knowing that. So then getting involved in the pulling and pushing or this and that, I'm just like, that's it. I could come across as maybe a bit boring, a bit bland. Well, yeah, it is what it is. I love that saying. It is what it is, and does it really matter? That's why this is called Does It Really Matter? And my website, because does it, when we know we are God source creator experiencing itself, it takes a heaviness out of it. For me, anyway, I can only answer from me. And I'm not saying it's mucky stuff, but you could call it mucky stuff of living in programmings and traumas and patterns. To know that we're just experiencing itself. Nothing's right, nothing's wrong. So for me, I spend some of my days going, okay then, this is happening, that's happening. Oh, okay, this is what Source Creator wants to experience. Now, I know that will piss some people off.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, yeah.
Feel free to talk as your channel. Why do you think we're experiencing ourselves?
Because, so I'll give it from different, okay, I'm going to give it from Tammy. I'm going to really try and go in my human brain, like fully human, present here on earth, like really try and go in my human brain. I don't know. I was born and I'm here. I don't know. Other parts of me, I wanted to experience everything I am, and to experience everything I am, I need to experience everything I'm not. And there's beauty in all the experiences. It's just from the perception of the vibrationary field where there's some humans and the earth what you are living upon, but actually humans you can physically look and they are living on different vibrations of the earth. That can be in another episode because it can go on and off in so many topics. But to get back, we wanted the eye to experience itself in so many different ways. Why not? Why not? To take a wholeness and fractalize it to all these beautiful experiences, and humans could go, beautiful, how can it be beautiful what's happening on our earth right now? Well, it's pushing you into expansion, is it not? Some, very big expansion. Some, you could call it contraction, then to expand into a different area, because you are not still, you are all moving, you are all flowing. You have perception of stillness. So for you as a human, Do you not want to experience all of you? Do you not want to experience all of you individually? And as you experience all of you individually, you get to know and experience others and the oneness, even though the human body may not be what you and Tammy talked about, frequency matching, so you may be further afield in frequency, but as you experience yourself more, you know that you're all one, so you see them on their beautiful journey.
And what does eros or desire have to play into what you just said of that desire? Because what I hear is like a desire to experience oneness.
So again,
Yeah.
the human we will say the humans and their words are very they're not expansive, human words.
Mm.
And we've said through Tammy before, when humans drop the need to put everything into words and feel into feelings and frequency, shifts will happen faster. So we'll
Say that again. When humans.
drop the need to put it, we will speak louder because we know when this comes through the technology and the frequency, it comes through low. So we are going to speak louder now. How is that? Is that volume okay? Yes. Humans and words. The words can be very close. They're not expansive. Yes, because the human word and the brain, oh, this means that and that means that. And you created it to communicate with each other. Yes, for your human brain to learn and grow from. So when humans drop the need for having to put words to everything and go into frequency and feeling, and they will have this knowing, you get a knowing and you can't put words to it. Quite often, Tammy can't find words to describe how she's feeling. Yes. As more humans move into that and drop the need for words, there's going to be, you could call it faster expansion.
Mm.
Does that make sense? So desire, you could say source creator energy, desire to experience itself inside and out, upside down, separately, singularly, whatever human word you want to put to it. So it did. And this is how powerful you are, because you are it, it is you. So on the earth right now, the amount of humans knowing how powerful they are, knowing their sovereignty, and even that word caps it, just you are a magnificent frequency, energy. Again, whatever word you want to put to it, the most expansive word you can think of to put to it, that is what you are. So when we would say, when we say we are different fractals of Tammy speaking through her to answer what you asked best. Yes? If you can take it as you are here just to experience, and you are source, creator, God experiencing itself, and maybe not have the need for so many words, just, oh, we are God, source, creator experiencing itself. For some humans, it will bring a lightness. Oh, we're just here experiencing ourself, itself, the oneness, the all, the omnipresent, whatever word you here experiencing it. And then you drop out of this is negative, this is positive, but you're aware that it's there because it's tools to help you experience in this frequency of this earth. They are just tools. But break it down away from the tools, away from the words, but we've realized we have to use words to get this across. You are just source experiencing itself. And when we say just, it's not this little, oh, you are just source experiencing itself. Do you see how people's interpretation of words can be very different as well? So that impacts. So if humans can take a moment out of their days to step outside words and step into frequency, is what you and Tammy will call it, feeling, So much expansion in that place. What your human words can't describe yet.
One of the things which come into my mind is the difference between one is an empath. If I go somewhere, I feel anxiety or the stress or the excitement in the environment, but it's not mine, it's the environment. And then there'll be somebody will tell me something and all of a sudden it will trigger me. But it's not really only triggering me, it's triggering a generational trauma. So it's something within me which has been held.
Mm.
And then I will be somewhere and something will be like, go left. And it wouldn't be a feeling, it would just be this clear knowing, go left or speak to this person. It's very, you can listen to it, you cannot, but it's not feelings, like this quiet, clear knowing. Because that's I've been trying to understand the differences, the nuances around those different layers of how you can be, from your own feelings to generational to environment to that clear knowing. Does all of that fall into frequency, or is that all different things?
So we would say, from what perspective do you want it to be? Now that, again, you get to choose from what perspective you want it to be. And now we know that doesn't satisfy the human brain. The human brain is going, what? What? No, because the human brain needs to know. The human brain is surviving. The human brain is learning. The human brain is a beautiful bit of, you could call it machinery technology. But what you are is this experiencing what it's like to have a human brain. Okay.
Mm.
So we will all come at this from different angles. Yes. If you choose to want to experience it as generational trauma. Now, generational trauma is real. It has assisted, but you are outside of it as well. Yes. So we will give you Tammy. On Tammy, she calls it the start of her journey. Yes. And she is now laughing that we are doing this and using her human body to do this, because she was on her journey anyway. There was no start of her journey because it was her journey anyway, but we will do this. Yes. Generational trauma. So in Tammy's mind at the start of her journey, this was very, very real. We're not saying it's not real. Of course is it, because it is a dream in some different aspect as well. But we will come back to that later. The generational trauma was real, and she got messages from different vibrations of herself saying, you've healed this part now. So she did, and it was very real for her. Yes, because she is now changing and has changed her human life. Then patterns are not seen in her life anymore. Yes. But as she's been stepping more and more and more within and connecting to more and more of a wholeness, which every human can do, you have said this yourself, every human can do that. Okay. And if you take soul contracts, Akashic records, they are all very, very real. But once you realize you are the creator of all of it, you can step outside of them. Now, we know that doesn't satisfy the human brain from asking that the question what was asked. But we will, just 1 second. I'm going into another frequency. So just 1 second. So you will always have, whether you're aware of it or not, a knowing, don't go in. Don't do this, turn left, turn right. Yes. Everyone has got it. It's just more people are open to it than others. Although more humans are becoming more open to it now. Yes. And when you're an empath and you can feel what people are feeling and you just have a knowing. Okay. So there's a fractal view in the human body having this human experience, what are connected to other fractals of you. Yes. So you are, okay, we have to work with Tammy's vocabulary here. So just a moment. If you put your human body into a space and you've got 10 other human bodies, okay? If that energy is not conducive, you will feel a bit drowned. So you go and ground, you go and spend time doing what you love to do. So it's not saying that empaths are not feeling what they're feeling. Yes, they are. And again, to put into for the human brain to understand with frequency first, it's we want to come back to your conversation, choosing. So if you're in a place where it's just turn on and you can feel this and feel this and feel this, and your human body's not liking it, move away from that place. But you could get stuck on loops. A lot of humans are stuck on healing loops. Oh, they're and it's it's not saying don't heal, of course. But how much time do you want to spend doing it? Or do you want to spend more time living? Living. Yes, Tammy says shit happens. We will use her words. Because when she says that, there's a feeling behind it. So that word conveys it very, very well. Again, human and words with swearing. Tammy and other fractals have had this conversation with herself a lot. Yes, it does happen. But it's okay because it's source experience in itself. And then from another perspective, it is all a dream, but it's very real for souls to learn and grow. When you yourself have thoughts that is feeding back to source, to your other fractals, experiencing itself on different planets, in different realms, in different vibrational frequency fields. We'll give you this before we stop this channel, okay? Tammy went through her life thinking the earth was round because that's what she was taught. Tammy then went through another part of her life thinking the earth was flat because she looked at it and it made sense to a human. Now, Tammy was in the car and her husband were talking about the moon, and there are moons. And then she asked her husband, what do you think the earth is? And he's like, I don't really care. And she was like, my fractals are going to come through and tell you how I see it as a human, because Tammy's human doesn't find it hard to articulate now, but the movie Avatar, where they bring up the planets from a screen and you can move it around and zoom in and out. That is how the human brain of Tammy sees it now. Of course, where this energy is coming from, this fractal of Tammy, we do not see Earth because there is no sight. It's just a vibrational frequency pulsing. Does it all matter? So from Tammy's human brain, that is how she sees the Earth, like that. If you would ask a human brain to experience it. But from this fractal of Tammy, this frequency of Tammy, of course, there are other fractals. It's a group energy now coming through. It's a pulsing of a frequency. Now your brain is doing what human brains do a lot. We can feel it. So although you asked your question, and to some extent it has not been answered at all for your human brain to go, oh, okay. But to another, it has been answered for expansion. We thank you.
Mhm. Thank you. It has been answered for expansion because it didn't try to tell me these are the differences. It showed me how real each are. It also says that if you are source creator, everything is everything and you've created everything, and with everything there's rules, there's no rules, because everything's been formulated by source creator, which you're a fractal of. So you have choice of what you do, choice of what you want to focus on, choice of empath, of frequency, of internal, of generational, what you would interact with, what you don't want to interact with. Sometimes you don't even know you have the choice. And even when you do know you have the choice, you don't know how to make that choice. And that's all part of the experience, because you've chosen to experience life with a mind, with a body, with all of these several sensations coming in. And it can all feel overwhelming, complex. At the same time, that's why on this earth we've got capitalism and other structures which says this is how you should live this life. Well, actually, it's totally open. You can kind of do whatever you want, but there's overarching narratives which people
Mm.
choose to follow or choose not to follow. Um, and within all of that, if you're choosing frequency first, again, it's another choice. It's another
Yeah.
thing to choose.
Sorry. Basically.
The same way you have the choice, if you're in a room and you feel loads of people and it's feeling like it's not your energy, you have the choice if you can leave or not. Some people in the circumstances where they can't really leave, but you have a choice of how you imagine and how you interact with it within your own consciousness of wherever you are, even if you can't leave. So there's always choices which you can make within you as a fractal, as a human being, as part of Source Creator. And within all of that, that's what makes the choice to come on Earth a beautiful thing, because it's an experience, regardless of what you're doing. Everything is from a negative to a positive to up to down. Everything's everything and everything's nothing, all intertwined at the same time.
Mm.
If you can feel your own core essence within that. And then as you're speaking and you went back to the name of the podcast, where does it all matter, or something along those lines, I started to think, what does saying that do to Tammy? Does it help her? Does it help to ground her? Does it help to kind of push away or move away the seriousness of the moment and make it more open and expansive? Because it's like, no, it doesn't, because everything's an experience. And then it had me having another question. I've grown up in a Christian household, and this is a bit more of a left field question because it's around meanings and names and how things
Mm.
resonate. And there's been so many times where I've heard stories, well, not so many times, probably 3 times, where I've heard stories of people who have gone through something. I don't know, something's happening in a dream. They're being chased by something, or something's going
Mhm.
on. And they'll say they'll call this person's name or that person's name, and nothing will happen. And they will say Jesus. They'll call Jesus Christ. And for whatever reason, that name helps to snap them out or helps to release them in some way. And I've been thinking about what makes that name Jesus so powerful. What is it?
So I'm not going to go
That
into
is.
a channel. I won't go into a channel because I'm a bit like, oh, from that channel. But I'll answer from not a channel to say, but I'm getting a bit of information, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
Um, so for humans and their brain and a frequency, Jesus is a like a frequency. Yes, a human walked, but it's a big frequency. It's a big vibratory field, if I worded that right. So with the programming, okay, so if you think this will save me, this will save me, Jesus will save me, I'll call out for Jesus, yes. And it's not that vibration is real, like the Jesus energy frequency is real, yes. Everything is real. And then not at all, but we'll go for the human brain, yes. So that will then, when they call that out, because in their field, they're like, it will help, it helps. And so I went to a, a convent school, secondary school, okay. So not religious, but I went to one, okay. And then when I moved up here, I'd had a dream and I saw Jesus in these clouds. And I've woke up and I'm like, what? Why have I seen that? What? I'm not religious at all. But it's an energetic field. And some people have had uh, past life regressions and that, and they've gone back into that field. So in a sense, it's kind of a one person what walked, but it's a field, a frequency, an energy, a bandwidth where in, let's say, humans' time of need, they would go, God, Jesus, other, is it called deities? A few different will then come and, like you say, assist. But then there's people what have, let's say, really believed in hell. And when they're transitioned, they experience that because that's how strong and how powerful the human beliefs can be. I hope I've answered that in a way. And this is why
Yeah.
I,
You have answered it. Uh,
I this was last year. Was it last year? I can't, again, time just don't. So it come to me from another fractal of me. The only belief I have is to have no beliefs at all. That way I'm open to all what is. Because when you have a belief, you'll put yourself in that belief box. But there's so much more to experience. Now, I had a lot of beliefs for a long time and I learned what I needed to learn from them. Now I'm just like, see people go, oh, there's reptilians. Okay, Source wants to experience self as a reptilian. So what? It don't hold a big power over me. Me going, what? What? No, Source is experiencing himself as that. Okay, great. So there's no power. And if you talk about the devil, again, humans have really, if you want to go down another way, really took something and mucked it up. But then what? To unmuddle itself. Beautiful. Let's experience a big muddle and then let's unmuddle ourselves. It's called his story. His story. So the person what's writing it, you find a lot of contradictions if you read a lot of books. Like right along. It's just his story. Okay. Source is experiencing himself that way. So as you start stepping into that, you get a lot lighter. You just, okay. And this is where, going back to earlier, like full tummy's coming in now. When I said to you, my friends asked, oh, how you doing? I'm like, okay. Because how I've just spoke, that is what I get in my head. And I'm like, okay, okay.
mm.
And people around me, I suppose I've got to get used to that. And it can be really boring for some, but really interesting for others. But from our perspective, I don't think I'm boring. My husband and my daughter were dancing down a shopping aisle the other day, like all the way from that end to that end, just dancing. So it's not, I don't enjoy myself or whatever. We're just dancing and spinning around and stuff like that. But okay, so Jesus for some will be the biggest help at that moment in time. Jesus for others has not helped them at all. I mean, you've seen it like, oh, I've asked Jesus or I've asked God and but it all comes to you. You are everything.
That's what I was reflecting on the other day when I was thinking about the same question I asked you. Because somebody who I met randomly at a cafe was telling me about an experience that their son had with, I think it was a mushroom, where they were having a really traumatic time because they were taking this kind of psychedelic. And, you know, the son, I think, was atheist and, you know, read up on many different religions. And when he was at this dark time, you know, he called for his mum didn't come. He called for, like, let's just go for like Muhammad, Buddha, like, etc., etc., etc. And for him, when he called Jesus, that's what came through for him. And then I was reflecting because I've heard similar stories before. And then one of the things which came out from my reflection, I said, I wonder if Jesus or all of these other things are already a part of you, and all you're doing is tapping into a deep part of you who's highly connected in that way. And you're not so much calling just Jesus, say the person who lived and who we talk about in the Bible, but you're calling the Jesus from within, who's already a part of you and already sits within you and is already you're one of the fractals within your own consciousness. And it's the one which you believe or the one which you're more in tune to accessing that
Mm.
comes and which can then hold you in that
Again,
space.
sorry to interrupt again. I'm coming it from the human brain, for the human brain to go, okay, okay. So this is a very human part I'm coming to it from. That could then be generational. So maybe generations in his line, which said he, yeah, his line really interacted with the Jesus frequency. And maybe he chose unknowingly to interact with it. Who knows? That's his beautiful,
Yeah.
unique
Yeah. Who knows?
journey. Who knows?
Mm.
And then it's on. I fry my own human brain. See, like if you can feel your human brain short circuiting, is that what it's called? Where it short circuits, it don't. Because I go from a human thing, and then I'm like, I go to that, and then my body's just like, I actually know nothing, but I know everything. But I know everything about nothing, and nothing about everything. Like all humans, we're just choosing to experience what we know and don't know, but we know everything about nothing. And I laugh.
And one of the things that stood out as well when you were speaking a while ago, and I'll just mention it because it did stay in my heart, because it felt like very much talking to where I'm currently at in terms of healing and being stuck in a healing loop where you're consciously and constantly doing therapy, or you're in an
Mm,
environment which isn't the best for you, but you're kind of safe-ish in that because you're used to it and you're trying to understand what your triggers are, and you're working through those things, and those triggers keep coming in different ways, and you're working through it, and you're talking to people who trigger you, and then you're still working at it with them, and you can see the healing, you can understand where it's coming from personal trauma, generational things, environmental things, etc., etc. So you can spend hours, days, years healing
times,
without never living,
lifetimes.
without ever living. Yeah, literally. So where I'm at now is I've seen how much I've done a lot of healing, and I see the healing as, if I was a tree, I see the healing as roots going into the soil, giving me really firm roots. But in order for me to grow my branches, I need to live, not just heal. I need to
Mm,
move. I need to experience. I need to go. I need to follow frequency, because frequency
mm,
for me, and in this lifetime, I feel is going to be like the highest form of living, because
mm.
my human brain can't fathom what will be, because frequency isn't a
Is it
plan, it
meant
isn't a
to?
strategy, it's just being.
Is it meant to fathom? Like we think our brain has to have everything figured out. Is it actually meant to? Or is it a tool to assist us to experience? Um, but you said triggers now. For a big part of my awakening, starting journey, whatever, which I realise I never started it. I've always been on it. Um, oh, if someone triggers you, you've not healed. If someone triggers you, like you've got work to do. No, actually, I can just find someone annoying and irritating just as they can find me annoying and irritating. So I just don't want to be around them. Sometimes it can be just as simple as that. Because I know my energy field is not conducive to other people's energy field, and they just won't want to be around me, or just be like, oh, no, you're all right. And that's exactly how it's meant to be, so we can learn and grow and then move to. So again, humans and their words, oh, trigger, oh, you've got healing to do, you've got that to do. No, actually, I'm just not keen on that person's energy, just like they're not keen on mine. I can think they're an idiot and they can think I'm an idiot, and that's completely okay. So take your trigger. No, I just don't like. And they just don't like. And that's fine. Because again, oh, we're being triggered. Oh, do you know what? Just let me be sometimes, because you can get stuck in that loop constantly. Like, seriously.
You can. And just to add to that as well, because they're getting stuck in the loop. There's meeting people who, yes, just we just don't get along. That's fine. We can move apart. But also, there's the notion where people have always been part of your life. They've always keep strict, and you feel like you can't leave them. So it's like, I'm stuck in this, and then that can sometimes feel like, okay, well, I need to find a way to overcome it. Where sometimes it is what it is. I know I'm gonna go meet them, so I need to make sure beforehand I just need to do some stuff which is going to give me energy. Afterwards, I need to do this which is going to bring back my energy. I know for that period, unless I want to completely avoid it or move away or do whatever. So certain things like you don't necessarily need to heal from, but the awareness of it allows you to choose what do you want to do in the situation. Some things you can, do the deeper healing, etc., etc. But it's also your choice of trying to understand that and hold it. But that's because you know it. Just because it's healed doesn't mean it won't impact you. Doesn't mean it still doesn't hit your energy. And like you said ages ago, when we're talking about the person will react to you from where they are, not from where you are. So yes, you might understand this, you might have done your healing. They're still where they're at. They'll still move how they need to move, and they will still hit you because whatever that is, because sometimes healing doesn't necessarily change how something will impact you. It does change it may change your awareness of it. It may change the way you interpret it may change the way you interpret that healing. Not that healing. It may change the way you interpret the experience. It's like you
Mm,
may not take it as personally anymore. And that will
mm,
make you react differently to it, but it will still hit you.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think with things, it starts to give you more choices.
I'd like to thank everyone what took the time to watch this episode of Does It Really Matter with myself and Silva. And I'll see you next time. Bye.